catch and shoot three from Aaron Wiggins. On attacking the layup.
And now there's a red flag to repair the...
Yes, we have tried our best, and be rest assured that there is always the next time. As Benjamin Mays, former president of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, said, "It must be borne in mind that the tragedy of life lies in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach. It isn't a calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It is not a disaster to be unable to capture your ideal, but it is a disaster to have no ideal to capture. Not failure, but low aim is seen." Some countries, Morocco, Egypt, Tunisia, exited 2-3 weeks ago. We have come this far, so close. They rest assured that will come back roaring stronger in the next dispensation. There is a cause for celebration. We are the second best footballing nation in Africa. You have no cause to be sad. We have every cause to celebrate. The nation is proud of you. You are the source of our national unity. It's when the Super Eagle plays. No race, no region, no religion. You unite the nation. The nation is in grief, but the nation is in solidarity with you. Be rest assured that your names will be written in gold in the annals of contemporary football history in Nigeria. Please, I convey to you the best wishes and regards from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There is no need for you to be sad. On Wednesday, we were celebrating. And we came so close. We lost within a span of 15 minutes. But that's in the nature of games. The most important thing is that whichever way the pendulum swings, it's Africa that wins. This is the African Cup of Unity. And it came to West Africa, at least. That's our consolation. So please, gentlemen, there is every cause for us to rejoice and celebrate with one another. There is every cause for us to unite. Look at our mistakes and make amends in the next dispensation. Honestly, we are very proud of you. And the nation will adequately compensate you for your sacrifices. You left your clubs and came and worked for the nation. You came to the finals, so close. So there is no cause for you to be remorseful. There is no cause for you to be sad. There is every cause for us to feel proud of our nation, of our achievements, in a very hostile environment. Thank you so much, and may God bless you all.
Rolling right now with a catch and shoot three from Aaron Wiggins. On attacking the layup.
And now there's a red...
Of course, you can simply call me Purity. And on the show this beautiful Monday afternoon, we talk about the game that went down yesterday at the finals of the AFCON between the host Ivory Coast and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, which ended in a 2-1 win for the home side. Of course, talk about the third place matches between South Africa and DR Congo, which ended in a goalless draw. We talk about basketball, and don't forget that the game that went down this weekend, we saw a beautiful performance from the Gunners this weekend. They won their game by 6 goals to nothing, and of course United find a way against Aston Villa. These are many more stories that will be coming your way this lovely Monday afternoon. Let's start with basketball, starting with the world of NBA. The game that went down yesterday, we saw several games in the world of NBA that went down yesterday, we saw a brief performance from Miami Heat at Boston Celtic. Is one of the biggest games that went down yesterday. But guess what? It was a win for the Celtic, because from the first quarter of that game, they dominated possession, and of course they recorded 26 points and leave it 22 points behind for Miami Heat. Also in the second quarter of the game, brief performance from Jason Thompson, recording massive points in that second quarter. Of course, they recorded 33 points in the second quarter of the game, even though they lost the third and the last quarter of the encounter. But then it was a victory for Boston Celtic. Also, we saw some other games in the world of NBA. Brooklyn Nets was in action against San Antonio Spurs. One of the interesting games that happened in the NBA yesterday was the game involving the Brooklyn Nets. In the first quarter of that game, it was just 3 points different, because in the first quarter, the Nets recorded 33 points and leave it 30 points behind for the Spurs. And in the second quarter of that game, we saw them recording 27 points and leaving 18 points behind. And in the third quarter and last quarter, it was a brief display from the Brooklyn Nets. Also, we saw Indiana Pacers winning away from home, and of course, we saw the like of OKC Thunder against Sacramento Kings. A beautiful performance coming from the world of NBA. Away from NBA, let's go straight to FIBA, because this weekend we saw the game involving the Tigers of Nigeria in their group, which they met the first opponent against Senegal. They won their first game against Senegal. They recorded 72 points in the game against Senegal, but then they lost to USA, and of course they lost to Belgium just yesterday in that group. But then the good news is that they are through to the Olympic Paris 2024. But then let's check through the actions that went down in the world of NBA. Just yesterday, we have other games that also went down. We saw New Zealand against France. Of course, it was a victory for France because they recorded 94 points. And in the second game, we saw China also recorded 105 points against 69 points. Also, we saw Canada in action against Japan. It was a beautiful moment when we saw the Japanese recording 86 points and leaving 82 points for the Canadians. Also, Spain against Hungary. Also, it was just a 1 point difference, but then it was an interesting one. Beautiful performance from USA against Senegal. It was a heavily bitter game for the Senegalese. They lost all their 3 games right there in the group stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian, the Tigers, the African champion, are through to Paris 2024. Away from basketball, let's go straight to tennis this time around, because Abu Dhabi Open is ongoing, and just yesterday we saw the final, interesting final, seeing Elena Rybakina and of course Daria Kasatkina in the final yesterday. It was a 2-straight set for Rybakina, recording 6-1 at 6-4 in a beautiful game. We saw even in the semi-final where we saw Kasatkina displaying a performance in the semi-final, but yesterday it was a beautiful fashion. She won that game in a true straight set, embarrassing manner for Daria Kasatkina. The champion is being crowned yesterday at Abu Dhabi. Away from that, let's go straight to football, and this time around, starting from the local scene. This weekend, we saw a game revolving the home side Shooting Stars of Ibadan against Rivers United, which was very controversial because there was a penalty involved in that game. But then the good news is that the Oluyole Warriors won that game by a long goal, courtesy of Taufik Malomo, captain. Fantastic, beautiful performance from the Oluyole Warriors. And that is the game that we saw this weekend in the Nigerian Premier League. And of course, in the AFCON, we saw several games. In the third place, which we saw the South Africa against DR Congo. Regular time ended, goalless draw. We went to penalty, and of course, Willian stood up again for the Bafana of South Africa. And just yesterday, the biggest game right there in the AFCON, which was the final between the host and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. A lot of banter was going on in the social media. Trust me, we don't want to get into that conversation. Guess what? Nigeria opened the scoring in the first half of that game, but the Elephant came back in the second half of that game. We saw France Kese equalizing for the Elephants, and of course Sebastian Allan getting the winning goal for the Elephants yesterday. A whole lot of talking points involving in that game. Some people talk about the tactics of the Super Eagles. So some people blame the coach, some people blame individual personnel representing Nigeria. But then let's listen to the coach of the Super Eagles immediately after that game, and when we come back, we talk about other games that went down this weekend. Stay there, don't go anywhere.
Our team did fantastic. tournament, but today coach was better, did a very good game. Our team didn't play or didn't show our level. Is the truth, knowing we are not the same individual collective performance like we did until now. When this happened, only must say congratulations for Cote d'Ivoire. Was better than us today. Congratulations for my players because they did a fantastic job until today. They want, like me, they want to win this trophy for give offer for the Nigerian people, for Super Eagles, but they could not, we could not. We did accept the result. I am sad, my team is sad, but for me, they did the maximum, each one. You could not happen in their life. Sometimes you want to do, but cannot do.
All right, so welcome back from that post-match interview of the coach of the Super Eagles. Away from that, let's talk about the game that went down in the Premier League this weekend. On Saturday, we saw the game involving Manchester City and Everton, and we saw those beautiful goals from LeBron Haaland. 2 goals in his name, and of course 3 points for this citizen this weekend. Also, we saw Fulham against Bournemouth. Fulham won that game by 3 goals to 1. Brentford defeated from Fulham this weekend. And of course, we saw Liverpool against Burnley, another game that went down this weekend. And of course, the Reds won that game by 3 goals to 1. We saw Nottingham Town against Sheffield United. Sheffield United won that game by 3 goals to 1. Tottenham Hotspur against against Brighton ended in a victory for the Spurs. They won that game by 2 goals to 1. And we saw Wolverhampton Wanderers against Brentford, another game that went down this weekend. But then it was a victory for Brentford because they won away from home 2 goals to 0. And Newcastle United against Nottingham Forest. Newcastle went to the Forest and they won that game by 3 goals to 2. Also, in the French Ligue 1, we saw PSG defeating Lille by 3 goals to 1. And in the German Bundesliga, it's looking like Harry Kane will be going trophyless again this season because Bayern Leverkusen defeated Bayern Munich by 3 goals to 0. That is coming from the German Bundesliga. And in Italian Serie A, we saw the game involving AS Roma and Inter Milan. Inter Milan are winning away from home by 4 goals to 2, and Sassuolo against Torino ended in a 1-1 draw. Like I told you earlier, in the Nigerian Premier League, it ended 1 goal to 0 in favor of Shooting Stars of Ibadan. And in the Spanish La Liga, we saw Real Madrid walloping Girona this weekend by 5 goals to 0, and Las Palmas against Valencia ended in a 2-0 victory for Las Palmas. Also yesterday, we saw several games in the Premier League. Like I told you earlier, we saw Arsenal this weekend against West Ham United. But then it's looking like Arsenal is getting back to shape because they won that game by 6 goals to 0. And also we saw Manchester United yesterday also winning their game against Aston Villa. Also, some games that went down yesterday in the Spanish La Liga, we saw Barcelona struggling all through. They play a 3-3 draw in their league match. Before we say our BYE on the show, also in the Asian Cup, we saw the action this weekend, a back-to-back victory for Qatar because they won the last edition. Of course, this edition, they defeated Jordan by 3 goals to 1. We'll be back here on Wednesday for the midweek edition of Sports Unlimited on your biggest sporting platform, ITVS. Until then, my name is Ayomi Kun. Do enjoy the rest of your day and stay out of trouble.
And now there's a red flag to repair the...
Rolling right now with the catch and shoot 3 from Aaron Wiggins. Draymond attacking the layup,
And now there's a red flag to repair the...